Welcome back to The Good Talk, the show where we discuss what's hot, what's grot, and everything in between in the wide world of Warhammer. We are here about to talk about the big reveals from Warhammer Fest in Manchester. We, sad boys that we are, we're not able to attend this year, but my God, the reveals are so exciting.
Yeah, it's like action-packed. They're just throwing them out there. It's no surprise. We're getting the box in full. It's not. They're not even like creeping up slowly.
No.
With one unit here, one unit there. It's like, here's the whole box. It's a lot.
It's so much.
Apparently, it's fairly cheap in the UK. But
I know, we might have to... How many boxes would we have to buy for it to be worth it to fly over to the UK and get some?
yeah. How much is a shipping container full of starter sets?
Or how many baggages of luggage can we buy Liam on his way here?
Oh, dude. Oh, now we're big brain. All right, Liam.
Yes. Perfect. So, of course, if you enjoy this content, do hit that like and subscribe button down below. If you have questions, we are going to be doing lists, list analysis, list design. Any questions you have, go ahead and shoot on over those super chats, and we are happy to discuss. Without further ado, let's dive on in. We're joined, of course, today by Doc Mel, who's going to be pulling up the box set. Let's take a look.
This is. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I wake up an hour before stream, and I didn't read this article. I have no idea what it is in detail. I've only heard things that chat has told me and Adrian.
That's right. You came straight to work today at noon. Sorry, the camera's pulling a bit of focus. It's pulling focus off. That does this weird thing with the thing. Yeah, so this is the new box set, Leviathan, of course, named after the Leviathan fleet.
Oh, it's not the Dread?
Oh, God. No. And keep in mind, this is not going to be a Redemptor in this box. It's something else. And we finally have the name so people can stop arguing about that. Yeah, let's take a look, Mel. Let's go ahead and scroll on down.
Squirrely Woolly.
Nice commercial.
Whoa.
Good.
Lifting the lid.
This is a massive... So, you and I talked about this on stream a couple weeks ago.
It's huge,
It's huge. We were like, what do we think is going to be in the box? Someone asked us. And we were like, well, there was this unit in the... We looked at the trailer and we're like, there's this, there's this. We were
like, it has to be between 3 and like maybe 4 or 5 things.
Right? Like, there's no way they could possibly put everything in the trailer in this box. And here they are. Even the most obscure things that were in that trailer are here. Massive.
Even the cameraman is in there.
Yeah. It's so true. With the potato camera.
Yeah.
Look at this, 25 Marines, 47 Tyranids, and of course it has all the rulebooks and all that stuff, which is
you
cool.
got all the, there's Gene Stealers in there and also the Termagants. So that's why you get 20 plus extra models in the Tyranid side.
So they look like Gene Stealers.
Oh, are they not?
What if I told you, John, this was a new unit?
What?
Well, let's take a look at all the units. We're going to start
we gotta take it easy,
diving on in. So first off, Terminator Captain.
Yeah.
Big, beautiful.
That's a lot of oaths that he has taken. A lot of...
That's a lot of promises.
That's a lot of promises. This guy is in some promise debt right here. I would lower your expectations, Captain.
What is on the base?
So the base...
Like, what is like that oozy pink stuff?
It's. I'm so glad you asked, Mel, because they actually made a point of this.
Oh.
It's the head of the Screamer Carnifex. Tactical Rocks thing of the past. Tactical Screamer Carnifex heads.
Yeah.
Now,
is there a Screamer killer in here?
There is, in fact.
Okay.
Another thing we didn't expect them to actually do. So big base. I think, we'll probably obviously rebase this guy on some of the armies because it's very specific.
Yeah.
But that's him.
Or it's lava.
That's cool.
Or it's lava. Just paint it like lava.
Lava color Tyranid.
Librarian.
That's cool. This
Beautiful.
guy's yoked, man.
He's so cool. These guys are chonkers. I'm here for it.
This is the Terminator armor I need in my life.
That paint scheme is so pretty.
I know.
All the ruins and stuff.
Good luck painting that, though. Oh, man. I'm also excited for this next guy. This is a new type of apothecary in Gravis armor.
Yes.
Chunky boy.
Wait, what is that?
What is that thing out of his shoulder?
So these are all great questions. So this is the Apothecary Biologus, which sounds heretical. We just played a Biologus for...
Kinda sus, chat.
Yeah. And you know what this guy does?
You see?
In the little readout, he actually takes parts of the enemy and uses them against them. And I'm like, that sounds like heresy. Like, what are we like, oh, here, how about a little Tyranid DNA?
Look.
What?
Is it heresy? Yes, it's heresy. But are people gonna police you when you're solar systems away in front of Leviathan?
I don't know. Nobody's watching.
I mean, it checks out. They were already piecing together Tyranid armor to their
Right.
own shields and armor to patch it up. Like these are veterans of the
Tyrannic Wars?
Tyrannic Wars.
Yeah,
Right?
I think that's exactly
That's
right.
super cool.
I'm curious to see
So
what his
not
rules are.
Apothecary and Gravis armor then? We just gave it a whole new name.
I guess you just, yeah, I'm curious to see if it's entirely different role.
And
or
is
not.
that a gene seed that he has in that thing?
I don't know. Could be Gene Seed, could be Gene Stealer Seed. Nobody knows at this point.
Yep.
So
That's cool.
sick model though.
Yeah, very cool.
Next up, of course, we see GW's favorite lieutenants make their return. He does have a
wait.
flamer. We've seen
This
model.
is in the box.
This is in the box.
So we have 4 characters.
Yeah.
So far.
It's so many characters.
What? This is cool. I like the
Awesome
melted
model, though.
knife. Yeah,
This is cool. Yeah.
that's cool.
This one's shocking to me.
Stern Guard.
New Stern Guard. Never in a million years would I have predicted they would do this.
We went a whole edition really without seeing Stern Guard.
Yeah.
In previous editions, it was like they were a strong unit.
Right?
So I'm excited to see them again, and hopefully they get more focus in
Mm-hmm.
like trying to make them work in this 10th edition. So it's very cool. It's like a specialist, Marine squad.
They've been always weird, right? It's like, oh yeah, you can take them. The past few years, you only take them when they're abusive, right? And hopefully they'll kind of get updated. They are Primaris-fied, which is cool. And look,
Are they actually Primaris though?
I believe so. So if you look at the helmets, these are like intercessor style helmets.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure.
Cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. And of course, the Terminators we've seen.
Yeah.
Beautiful, but
Little teleport
Nothing new.
Homer there.
this is the Infernus squad. So this was another surprise. This is the new Flamer Boyo, but it comes with 10 of them. 10 of them.
It's a lot.
That's kind of interesting. And they're clearly not like a troops support thing, because as we saw, they actually only have an OC value of 1, so they're not like pseudo objective secured or anything.
Is it? We've seen the data sheet. It's min 10.
No, we haven't seen anything for
Okay.
squad size, but the box comes with 10.
Okay.
To me, this would have been a. I guess that means that the sprue probably comes in 10. I guess it could be 2 5s.
I guess since they don't really have weapon options,
Yeah.
they can probably save a lot of room on the sprue. So they're just like, make it 10.
I guess, yeah, it's like Hellblasters, right? Like
Yeah.
that comes in a box of 10, even though that's a lot of points. But cool models.
Very cool. Excited.
Here you go, John.
What? What is this?
This is. Allow me to introduce the Ballistus Dreadnought.
That's so good.
He's really. The legs are kind of weird, right? Feels like he skipped leg day.
Yeah, those were my thoughts exactly. I think it's really cool. It's a cool looking model.
Yeah, I'm here for
I'm
it.
a fan of like the missile array on the side.
Right?
The Laz looks kind of small for a, I don't know, Primaris type of dread. I don't know.
Funny you should mention that.
Is it not?
It's not Primaris, but we've seen the new profiles.
Yeah.
The las cannon. Oh, just a second, Mel.
Yep.
The las cannon is actually D6 plus 1 damage rather than a 3 plus D3 or anything.
That's not impressive.
And the missile launcher, I think, is also D6 damage. So kind of old school profiles, which again, maybe that's the future. Maybe that's what las cannons are back
Yeah,
to.
You know,
Less lethal, right?
output is it's less lethal. It's cool.
It's
I actually don't hate it.
No, I like it. It's got like a BattleTech vibe to it. Yeah. Oh. Ballistus. Now we know the name.
Yeah, it's cool.
Cool. All right, here we go.
Whoa. Yeah,
Look
of
at
course.
that face.
I've seen this guy.
Look at that face.
This is crazy. This is a prime. I'm so glad that I get an actual model now. You're not just like,
Right.
oh yeah, that one dude that looked a little different next to my warriors is my prime. It's cool. It's cool.
It makes a lot of sense, right? It's
Does
like,
the character actually have fly and everything?
I don't think we've seen any rules for this, but I
Oh, I
assume so. Which is interesting because, yeah, warriors famously don't have. Unless there's going to be a new warriors kit with wings,
Upgrade?
that would be sick.
That's cool.
Oh my god.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love this model.
What is this?
All right, here we go.
This?
Now, it's not the Doom of Malantai, as I predicted, but it might be something better. Let's take a look, Mel.
Neuro Tyrant. I'll take 3.
Right? Look how cool that guy
I
is.
don't know what it is, but it's tentacool.
Mel, down below the image, what do they say in the flavor text? They describe a bit about this unit.
Radiating ahead of every Tyranid hive fleet is the terrifying silence known as the Shadow in the Warp, a psychic phenomenon that blocks warp-based communication. During invasions, the Neuro Tyrant acts as a focusing node for this strange power, liquefying the minds of its prey as it orchestrates hordes of Tyranids to victory.
Beautiful.
It's big. Shadow in the Warp.
Thank
This is the one casting the shadow.
Oh my gosh.
So cool.
He's probably gonna do some like weird like battle shock stuff.
Yeah.
When you're within the war, like the Shadow of the Warp.
That is scary.
So I love this model. Super
That's
sick.
so cool.
And this next one, just for you, John.
Screamer Killer. Wow, that's so different. That's
Right.
so different.
He looks like the Predator.
Right? Is that okay? So it's a circle base. Interesting.
Oh
yeah.
Right. I didn't think
No
about
more
that.
ovals are for sure out.
Ovals are so awkward. I think it's a sick
And
model.
the uprightness is good and bad, right? It's gonna be easier to turn corners now that you're not messing with like an oval-shaped hull.
Yeah.
But he's taller.
And his arms, like, there's no hiding this guy.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna have to you're gonna move like this. You know?
Right.
It's
He's
cool.
dancing. He's been dancing.
I think the upright is important because the traditional Screamer Carnifex is like totally up and he's like, like this, like the old sculpt. So I think they were really trying to capture that again.
It reminds me of a oh man, StarCraft. The what are they? Basilisks? Or
Basilisk, I think. Yeah. I just call them Big Daddies.
Yeah, like the tier 3, the last tier you get for the bugs.
No, was it Hydro? Hydro?
No,
No, Hydro
Hydrolis
is the other ones. Yeah, never mind. Cool.
Very cool.
Of course, the Von Ryan's Leapers, which we've seen. Beautiful.
What?
Awesome.
I thought you were joking. Von Ryan's?
Yeah.
Like, what is that reference to? Sorry.
John, you gotta watch our short.
Is that the first person that found them? They're like, his name was Ryan?
Exactly. Von Ryan.
And then he was like, well, they're named after me now. And then he immediately died.
Exactly. They're cool because in the older editions of the Tyranid books, they were actually upgrades off of Hormagaunts, leaping Hormagaunts, and they actually show like the evolutionary pathway of their like Hormagaunts, and then like evolves into like Von Ryan's Leapers ? But now they kind of retconned it a little bit to make them actually kind of evolve from Lictors.
Yeah.
So they're kind of a mix of like the Lictors and Hormagaunts.
That's cool. Tyranids. Confirmed Pokemon.
Confirmed. The beautiful Termagants, of course, we've seen. Lovely.
Nice.
And here's your non-Gene Stealers. These guys are really weird.
Neurogaunts.
Neurogaunts.
Do they have psychic? What's so different about them? I'm so curious.
Tell us about them, Mel.
Neurogaunts are a variant strain of gaunt that
sounds
share a
like a Pokedex.
symbiotic relationship with the parasitic neurocytes that cling to their backs. Their primary purpose is to protect the powerful synapse creatures that coordinate the Tyranid invasion, and they will sacrifice themselves in droves to fulfill this task.
So cool. Thanks, Pokedex.
That's so cool. That's awesome. It seems like every like huge character in the Tyranid army also has like a bodyguard-esque thing going on. So this is like the bodyguard of the Neuro Tyrant.
So cool.
Seems like it's cool.
And then this, what we thought was
The Pyrovore.
Pyrovore. Maybe they're getting rid of Pyrovores and instead they're just having this model because I could see it have a very similar role. The Barb Gaunts. Big cannon Gaunts.
Ooh.
Which is cool.
What if you just evolved into a gun?
I know, right? It's just gun with
Like a
legs.
foot.
And this is my favorite model from the box set.
Of course it is. That thing's horrifying.
Yeah, the Psychophage. It's like. This is the reason to get 3 box sets, is you get 3 of these guys.
Jeez.
He still might be getting hurt.
It's like all brain. Is it a
Right?
butt or a brain?
Both. Butt brain. The hind brain. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Just such a cool model. And it's like, it's hard to see for us, but it's like pulling in a bunch of stuff, including like the severed arm of a space marine. So I just
Naturally.
like imagine it's just like this crazy flailing limbs and tentacles that like
Yeah.
grabs things and pulls them in.
How are you supposed to like spar with that? That's crazy.
You can't. You can't do.
Jeez.
So cool.
That's so cool.
Are
Well-
we going to the specific pages?
I think we're good for now because
Okay.
we ended up kind of talking a bit about the profiles. But if you have questions about specific stuff,
Yeah.
we of course can pull it back up and take a look at them.
That was a crazy journey.
John,
You
that was
brought me
basically your
on.
first look. What do you think?
That's crazy. Amazing models. I can't complain about new models coming out from GW. It's a big box.
Absolutely.
You got to
beautiful.
split this. It's so much. You want several of them. It's going to sell out.
Right.
I don't know. I don't care how many they make. It's going to sell out. It's crazy.
There's
You got to
no
like
way.
pre-order. You got to do everything.
You know? Oh, very, very excited. And of course, we'll let you know as soon as we can and get our hands on it to
How are we
start
going to
playing.
get the box?
I know, right?
Like,
How do we got to make some calls to James. Hey, you got any of those Leviathan boxes?
no.
They're already sold out.
What? Already
What? Well, with that, shall we dive on in? Take some super chats.
Yes, we shall. Thank you, Stu Will. Hi in the UK, and I'm gutted I cannot get to the fest.
Well, you can suffer with us, Stu.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining our FOMO.
Yeah. I wish we could be there.
Yeah.
It's there's so many Warhammer events nowadays. We're like really spoiled for choices, so you gotta miss a few. You can't make them all. They're happening all the time, and there's new ones popping up all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Unless you're a digital designer, then you go to all of them.
Digital, take me.
He's doing like 3 majors this month. It's nuts.
What?
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
That's amazing.
Thank you, disciples of Asmodai.
Asmodai.
Howdy, Titans. The rest of ninth, I am playing Shark. Boys.
Carcharodons?
Why is it always Carcharagon? Everyone loves that I can't say this word.
I'm pretty
Shark
sure that's
Boys.
why they're
I
saying
know.
Shark Boys.
So I didn't have to say it.
The less you think about it, the better.
Yeah.
And then you break. Do you want to read this list out loud?
I will. I'll just, because John, this was again Thursday. Mel. No, it's not. It's not against you. It's about the lore, because there was Carcharodons, and we're like, oh, it's the space sharks, and she thought we were just messing with her. She's like, okay,
Sure.
the space shark. We're like, no, it's a thing. So this is Whirlwind of Rage and Hungry for Battle, Raven Guard Successor. List is Tiberos, JP, Jump Pack Librarian with Advance and Charge Warlord trait, awesome. Pre-game move, and the pre-game move, so that's a package. Jump Pack Chaplain with plus to charge, 2x5 infiltrators,
aggression.
right? Two Invictors,
Gotta
2x8.
Victors.
What? I assume veterans.
Wait, what?
WET.
Oh, Van Vets.
I think it's
That's
Van
not a
Vets.
W, yeah.
2 Vs.
VV.
10 Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators and 10 Desos. Oh! So you could even take the 10 Terminators and yeet them up.
Right?
Like get midboard with them.
That's probably what you do, to be honest.
Oh my God. That's
So
like,
everything gets in at the same time, and you just overwhelm your opponent.
right?
I don't think there's a single thing I would change about this list. This is a list that I would want to take. I agree with the 10 Destillators. The Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators, amazing. Van Vets, you probably didn't have enough points for 2 5-mans. Invictors is that's maybe the thing I would cut, but they're still so good. If you're going in, go in, right? You're going to get distracted by these Invictors, and then you're going to get hit by some Terminators.
It takes
so crazy.
Exactly. It takes a very specific list for us to say keep the Invictors.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of list where they can really shine.
And then you have infiltrators chilling on objectives, holding all the objectives, screening things out, and now you're just winning on points.
So good. Sticky OBSEC.
Yeah.
I love this list.
You don't even have to necessarily survive the game. You're just gonna pressure them into 0 points.
Right? And in the meantime, like, you're scoring up everything. Like,
Yeah.
even just putting that block of Terminators right up in the middle.
What secondaries does he take though?
Oath Moment, because you can put Terminators in the
Oh,
middle.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Automatic Oath.
Yeah.
You could Shock, although that requires you to lose objectives.
The opponent can try.
Right?
Yeah, you definitely don't take Doctrines.
Yeah, you don't Codex.
You don't Codex Warfare here.
Banners is great because you can be set up very defense. You can be even in the midboard and start doing banners that you know you can hold, right?
Yeah.
That's normally the tough thing with banners is like you might have 2 safe ones, but you really want a 3rd one. And again, with the Terminators up in the middle, set up a solid banners there.
I don't know what the Raven Guard specific one is. It doesn't come to mind.
I think it's actually pretty decent.
Oh yeah?
I think it's
It
pretty
should be.
decent. So you could actually take that, I think. This is a cool list.
Yeah,
I
you're
wanna
probably
play this list.
behind or something.
Oh yeah, behind.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's awesome.
Cool. Amazing list.
Thank you so
Good
much.
luck.
Thank you for the support.
Thank you, Siege Roots.
Hey.
The Dreadnought skipped leg day. It's got a tactical rock, but does this mean Firstborn Dreads are getting squatted? 70 plus new models in one box.
That's nuts.
Is it 7? Wow.
Well, now you make me nervous, Cedrus, but I doubt it. If anything, this kind of puts all of the squatting like into contention. Like, I don't know what. If you had asked me this question at the start of last edition, I'd be like, yeah, probably by 10th, for sure 11th, they've phased out all the Firstborn. But now I have no idea. To be completely honest, I think some kits might get phased out, but I don't think it's it's not attached to Firstborn necessarily anymore. I think it has nothing to do with that. Right? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine to use your old models. They're just going to, look like old models, Just like how,
Right.
Eldari have a lot of pewter models still and older models. They're still valid. They just might not look as tall. Your tournaments might feel weird about
That's a good
how
point.
they're going to rule that. Like, you're going to have smaller models that are shorter that, Firstborn, shorter vehicles. I don't know. Dreads.
Chat just asked, also, are we going to talk about the revealed details for how missions work? Just to put that in your head.
Oh.
Oh, was that a Friday thing? Did we miss it on Thursday? Did you guys talk about the cards?
Yeah, it came out yesterday, I think. So yeah, we haven't really talked about it.
Okay.
We absolutely can.
Yeah.
Sure, totally. I think it's going to be okay, Siegers, but definitely feel you. There's a lot of uncertainty, even for us.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
Look, make sure when you build your dreadnoughts that it didn't skip leg day. Add some extra bits in there. I don't know.
Right.
Extra armor.
I love it. Cool.
Do you want to go to the next one, or did you want to talk about the...
Let's...
Up to you.
Let's talk about missions real quick.
Yeah.
So, Mel, would you
Yes.
mind popping up the Warhammer community site again? And let's just pull up the article and kind of dig through it. So they did reveal how missions are going to work in the new edition, and they gave us some specific examples. Not knowing what was going to come out today, my original talk for my backup talk, if they didn't reveal anything interesting, was are you worried and should you be worried about gambits?
What else is in Leviathan? Mission cards? Crusade rules?
Oh no, that's interesting. What's on there? It's one right below it, I think, with the red Votan on it.
Got it.
Yeah, it's probably that article. So they showed us a bit about how this works, and let's take a look. So
Whoa, huge change, dude.
massive.
Yeah.
But hold on, before we get to gambits, let's talk about the rest of it. So first of all, we can scroll down a little bit here, Mel. Boom, here we are. So we are now all going to be playing a kind of combination of Tempest of War and the missions we know now. So we're going to generate from the deck of cards deployment, your mission rule, and your primary mission. Now keep in mind, for tournaments, they're probably going to preset this, and they even mentioned this in the article. This doesn't mean that you're going to have to go to your GT and there's going to be like a wild number of randomness where we're all playing different games. My guess is that will be standard. They'll say exactly what cards you use, so that's fine. But it also means that you can't necessarily prepare for like, there's not 9 missions anymore. There's whatever the combinatorics on the number of deployments and the mission rules and the primary mission. So it's a lot more possibilities. Then you have your secondaries. And there's 2 ways to play secondaries in this game. Basically, you can play Tempest of War, random stuff each turn, or you can have pre-selected secondaries that, in theory, are harder to do or maybe score less points because they're preset. You can kind of build your list with these in mind.
Right.
And that's the options. Last of all, there's a gambit, which we'll discuss in a moment. So let's start scrolling down and see just the little bit they've given us.
Some examples here.
So this is an example of a mission. Sweep and clear and take and hold. Now, it's very small on this screen.
What am I reading?
What's the mission on sweep and clear on the left? Not the flavored text.
Okay, in this mission, if a player controls an objective marker at the end of their command phase, that objective marker remains under their control, even if they have no models within range of it, unless their opponent controls it at the end of any subsequent command phase.
Yeah, so nothing crazy here.
Sticky.
Yeah, sticky objectives. This is literally the mission we played today. Our objectives were sticky. That was part of the mission kind of bonus rules, right?
Exactly.
Now it's on a card.
Precisely. And let's see what the primary mission is. That'll be the other side.
At the end of each command phase, the player whose turn it is scores 5 victory points for each objective marker they control, up to 15 victory points per turn. In the 5th battle round, the player who has the first turn scores victory points as described above. The player who has the second turn scores victory points as described above, but does so at the end of their turn instead of at the end of their command phase.
So exactly the same as we have it now. Obviously, we're going back to 5 points instead of 4.
Yeah, 5 points. That's the first thing that caught my eye.
Yeah.
Everything else is the same, right?
Yeah, seems like
Okay.
command phase holding. What's interesting is this is just one version of it, obviously. So this is like a hold 1, hold 2 standard with what we have now. Sticky No obstacle, obviously, because obstacle's not a thing. But pretty standard, right? Makes sense.
Yeah, I guess if we're keeping the 100-point cap, right? 45 cap on primary, 5-point integrals. It's like less impactful now, I feel like.
No bonus.
Oh, no bonus.
No bonus.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Okay.
And that's why we're going back up to 5, because we're just getting rid of that.
That's what's not. It's what's not there as well. Okay.
Cool. So that's an example of primary. Seems pretty standard. Let's take a look at some secondary stuff. So here we have 2 examples. Would you mind reading these again?
Yes, secondary mission attacker, capture enemy outpost. At the end of your turn, if you control one or more objective marker in your opponent's deployment zone, this secondary mission is achieved and you score 8 victory points.
Beautiful.
Whew, that's hard.
Secondary mission defender, overwhelming force. While this secondary mission is active, each time an enemy unit that started the turn within range of an objective marker is destroyed, you score 3 victory points to a maximum of 5 victory points. Note that the victory points are scored even if such a unit is destroyed and then subsequently resurrected for any reason. If you score any victory points from this secondary mission during a turn, then at the end of that turn, this secondary mission is achieved.
So these seem like very high scoring secondaries, right? Like
8 points?
8 points for holding.
Are these ones that you're drawing or you're choosing?
It's not totally clear to me.
Preset.
Well, if we look at the colors, if it color coordinates with this, then it's...
Well,
oh, it's attacker defender.
Yeah.
Oh, wild.
Yeah. So you only have
They're separate decks.
secondaries that you can choose if you're attacker or defender. And oh man, there's so many things that.
Is this in fact simple?
Not particularly. You can see where you're trying to figure out how it works.
Right.
here.
Yeah. Does attacker mean you're going first? Do you know that before you choose secondaries? There's so many
There's some more questions.
There's so many questions.
Interesting. And then it's not symmetric because it's attacker defender. I mean, these are both strong. They both feel similarly strong. The overwhelming force is better against MSU armies, obviously. Capture enemy outpost is pretty much unilaterally strong, unless someone's really turtled up.
Sure.
Conspiracy theory. We're getting the AOS turn roll off because then you roll off to see who's attacker and defender each turn.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I said it first.
I hate it.
Chad,
It's too crazy.
Double
I don't
turns?
think that's what's happening, but it could be.
But there is something that definitely determines attack and defender, right? Like
Yeah.
we have it now, it's the start of the game, but it doesn't really mean very much.
Right.
You know?
I mean, yeah, exactly. That's kind of what is cool because it now has more impact whether you're attacker or defender now.
Right.
It literally dictates your secondaries and what you're trying to do. So I like that. I like that aspect.
Interesting. And here we arrive at the gambit cards. Now,
Should I go down to here or?
let's stay up here for a second.
Great.
So gambits. This is something that people might have feelings about. Let me explain how this works. So in battle round 3, both players will secretly select a gambit card from the deck, and you can select which gambit you're going to do. Now, if you choose to enact a gambit, basically it seems like the time in which you're going to do this is if you're down on points.
Yep.
You've had a very slow start to the game, and you're really hurting on your primary points. If you choose to play a gambit, you do not score any more primary points for the rest of the game. You're done. However, you're going to try to do this gambit, and if you complete it, it grants a huge chunk of points. In this case, they show 30 points, which might be standard. It's a lot of points.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're trying to do this gambit or not. What's interesting to me, though, is, again, you're going to select a gambit, and you're going to play it secretly. And one of the gambits is proceed as planned, which is no gambit. To say, I feel confident in my lead. I'm going to maintain that. And again, it's like, are you a gambling player? Are you a conservative player? Do you think you can make it back with what you have, or do you need this extra tick?
Yeah.
Now,
So
yeah.
When is the gambit revealed?
Battle round 3. At the top of 3, I think. End of 3. Sometimes
Sorry.
during battle round 3.
You reveal it to your opponent,
Yeah. Everyone reveals.
but you choose a gambit at the beginning.
In battle round 3.
Okay.
It's like you have like a deck, or you have like 3 cards or something, and you're gonna be like,
Choose one.
this is mine. You're gonna both place them down,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna reveal at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you find out, did anyone do the gambit, whatever.
Right.
But what do they actually entail, right? Let's take a look. So proceed as planned. We see on the left there, this is the, I'm not going to do a gambit. Perfect. And then the orbital strike coordinates, this one actually I'm pretty familiar with. They basically say you need to have a unit survive in within 9 inches of each table corner. Corner, yeah. So be in the edges.
Corner, yeah.
And at the end of the game, you're going to roll 2d6. And if you get a 12 or higher, you complete your gambit and you get 30 points. Now you get, what is it, +1 for each table quarter in which we have a unit that gets this. So if you successfully do all 4 of those corners, you're going to get 30 points on an 8+.
So Adrian, you're never taking the gambit.
But I mean, if you're down,
if there's
no way you could win,
right,
and you just gotta go for the gambit, 30 points. That's a third of your points.
Exactly. Now, if you're still getting crushed, then obviously the gambit won't work. It is it's not an automatic win,
right?
But it is not, and you can't score any primary for the rest of the game. And then I think it's important that they find that balance, right? Otherwise, it's like, well, I'm just going to gambit, whatever. Like, I think people are going to be concerned about that happening. Is people just randomly like rolling 2 6s and winning?
Yeah.
I hope it's designed intelligently so that doesn't really happen.
Yeah, I mean, but good players on both ends will need to mitigate all the risk, right?
Right.
Like you can easily stop this.
100%.
Like you can make sure if you need a gambit, you have your units near quarters. You can have defensive gambit plays where you have things ready to shoot in those corners. So it's
exactly
tug and pull.
right.
But yeah, I guess if you roll double sixes, I don't know.
But there's still play around it, you know. So I'm not nervous about it. I'm curious about it. But I know people are gonna have feelings about this.
Yeah,
Which
it's
let
a
us
big
know.
change. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna take some adjusting, but right now, it's super cool. I'm sure most people won't gambit.
Yeah. Are you gonna
Especially if
gambit?
it's a tight game. It's revealed on turn 3. It has to be a very quick game. Like things have to be figured out on turn 3 for you to gambit.
Right.
I doubt I'm gonna gambit very often unless I'm playing against Bridger, and then he'll squeeze it out of me. I'll gambit every time.
So true. Well, there you go, Chad. Thanks so much for asking. And
Thanks so much.
let us know if you have
It
questions.
feels like they're making the armies simpler, but the game more complicated.
Yeah, they're adding all these other extra kind of elements, you know. I'm curious, like how many secondaries you get or how often you generate them. Like, I'm just curious about that because you can tell even by the way we're talking about it, it wasn't entirely clear to us.
Yeah, I'm curious where apps are gonna go because apps are big in scoring and stuff. The current mission now it's gonna be so complicated. What apps are they gonna create to?
Right.
Is GW gonna come out with something? Just interested.
I bet they will.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Like you kind of need it.
Yeah, it's a lot, especially for newer players. Gotta keep track somehow.
Right. It'd be cool if the app could also generate these things for you instead of the cards.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, cards are famously easy to cheat. And that's a concern for tournaments, I'll be honest.
That's actually a great way to utilize digital formats in Warhammer. Here is a safe app that people can't, change and use in their favor, and it's gonna, be crucial to the mission and fairness.
That'd be cool. I'm on board for that. Also, because then you're gonna lose cards and forget cards. There's just the cards are kind of fraught.
I lost my third secondary.
Right?
I gotta buy a new set of cards.
Yeah. If I'm playing, I would lose the scouring. Be like, oh, sorry, don't have a scouring in my deck. Guess we're never playing that.
Yeah, we're drawing out of my deck, right?
Yeah. So there's gonna be some weirdness with that. All right, let's take a look.
Well, thank you, Silmfaril.
Silmaril, probably.
Silmaril?
Silmaril.
You gotta work on your elite speak.
Have you guys ever seen giraffes fight? My friends and I are convinced that's how Tyranid zoanthropes do melee. Love your streams.
And but
Their back kicks are also very powerful. Can decapitate a lion.
what?
Yeah.
It's like a horse with a giant leg.
With a giant leg.
Like a piston. Clink.
Giraffes didn't skip leg day or neck day.
Giraffes
The
are horrifying.
evolution of giraffes is wild. And also
Yeah.
why, I totally think people would be like, yeah, unicorns could totally exist.
Yeah.
Because that's
Right.
just a horse with a horn. But giraffes? What?
A unicorn is much more realistic than a giraffe. Think about that.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. What? How? Who made
Yeah,
this?
they fight by just throwing their necks at each other. What? I agree. That's exactly how zoanthropes would fight.
For sure. Thanks,
Basically
Silmaril.
a fiend too, because their tongues are huge.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh my god, are giraffes Tyranids? they didn't in fact evolve. They are here from another planet.
I think they're like
It could also be Slanesh as well.
Slanesh. Yeah, exactly. Oh, God.
Love it.
Not going to pursue that train of thought.
Thank you. And thank you, Taylor B. Our group tends to do 2v1 or 2v2 for 2K games. With the desire to play the Lion, what would you do to make a good 1K list?
Oh,
question.
cool. Ooh.
I mean, the Lion is a lot of points, right? He's like 350?
Yeah, 330.
330?
No, 320.
320?
Yeah. He's 10 points less than 10 Terminators. But I think, yeah, the Lion with his Warlord trait just really works well as like a buddy system. Like Lion with Terminators. And so I think the 1K list, if you're doing 2v2, right? The 1K list I would make for the Lion is like 10 Deathwing Terminators with the Lion, like Lion and Entourage, you know, the banner, and you get to play that kind of like Entourage squad. And frankly, that's going to add up very, very quickly.
Yeah, you are the brick, you're the anvil that pushes up the board and really bullies the opponent. And your other 1K, your teammate, is going to need to fill in some gaps, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the way to do it. It's probably the most fun for the person playing the Lion. That'd be awesome.
Strong,
right?
Strong.
Yeah. Thanks, Taylor. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Taylor. Thanks to Chris DV. On one hand, Warhammer Fest is an hour from my house. On the other hand, that requires going outside.
Ew,
That's
outside's
fair.
scary.
Gross.
Stranger
people out there.
danger.
Yeah.
You know, you're always safe when indoors.
Jesus.
What can I say?
John
Things
went
happen.
really dark with
Outside's
this.
scary place. I agree with Chris.
You kind of scared me. I don't want to go outside now.
Guess we're living here now.
This is where we live now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
I get the introverted vibes completely, so
Yeah.
I agree,
It's
Chris.
a lot.
Everyone needs like a rest day, you know? You gotta regenerate, re-energize.
If you're an introvert.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael Cody. T-Zuns versus Quins. Zach says my lists are excellent, but effective at high level. Thanks, John. Not trying to catch you off guard, but please help.
Well, if Zach says your lists are excellent, you're in trouble.
Oh, is that like my lists or your lists?
So
My list?
Michael Cody,
Your list is excellent, Michael Cody.
I guess Zach says that his list is excellent.
Says
Perfect.
my.
Zach doesn't play any of these armies. I think he's trying to. Oh, because you guys are on the same team.
He
Okay.
frequents T-Suns, maybe sometimes in the past.
He painted some.
Yeah, he basically mastered.
Actually, sorry. I shouldn't be helping your enemies. Yeah. You should definitely.
Excellent, but effective at high level?
So yeah, Thousand Suns are kind of hard to play. There's so many different things you got to keep track of, and so they really will reward someone who knows them really, really well.
Yes, they're quite dynamic, right? You got to know all your options to play T-Suns the most optimal way. I've cheat sheeted up, man. You gotta write it all out. Have a sheet of just your psychic spells and who has them, and then you just cast in that order. I've seen so many T-Sun players do that. Even experienced ones have that little psychic cheat sheet.
You have to.
And also just like known strats, like 3 or 4 stratagems that you just have like right in front of you, so you know that it's available to you when the time comes. We're gonna have some fun at that narrative event next week. It's coming up so fast.
It's gonna be awesome.
We're gonna, I don't know. It's gonna be wild. I'm definitely playing Michael Cody at some point in this tournament or this event.
Sounds like Quins. Is Andrew taking his Harlequins, or I thought he was taking?
I don't know, to be honest.
Kinda sounds like it.
We
on
have
your team?
Brian Leva. That is, it's kind of cool because he has a, what is it, like a Crone World Bound? What are they called? Like their World Bound Eldari.
Yeah.
What are they? What's the word?
Coalesced.
Yeah. They're not craft world bound. They're
Right.
world bound. And then we have Andrew, who has all the Eldar. He might bring Quins. He has a small craft world army. He also has a lot of Jukari, so you could also play those.
Which y'all have seen.
And then we have Jan, who definitely has an amazing craft world army, and then I have a craft world army.
Yeah.
So you might play Quins. It could be allied troop
cool.
in there.
Well, there's
Either way,
you
like
could just be playing totally Quins.
yeah.
I bet Andrew's doing that.
Yeah.
So Cult of Duplicity, again, going to be very important to be able to teleport around, keep them honest.
The mortal wounds as well against single wound models, just like swaths of dead Eldari. If you just can get a beat on them,
Watch out for the Laughing God's Eye, which is a 5+ feeling pain against mortals. So find out where that thing is and kill it or avoid it.
Yeah. Watch out for
important.
Oathway as well, because they have a 5-up Feel No Pain.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, try to avoid that matchup, which is me, basically. I'm the Oathway player in my team, spoilers.
Which, there is some metagaming that can happen. I was chatting with Brett about it, because like,
Oh,
we're
really?
going to get like the types of missions we need to go on.
Yes.
And as we play throughout the weekend, we're going to be like, oh, well, we know that John is like likely to take this mission
Yeah.
because of his army or whatever
Yes.
he's playing. So if you're like trying to play for or against them, you can
Yeah.
like, you can kind of, you know, manipulate that a bit. Now, that's not me. That's not me being a power gamer. That's what Brett told me, okay?
No, I mean, it's supposed to be strategic in its own sense, right? Like, it's
Right.
okay to like try to win and try to have good pairings. It's just like gotta have fun and stuff when you're actually
Yeah.
in the game.
Exactly.
So it's very cool. Like we have 5 or 6 different types of missions, like infiltrating, defending, assaulting, like a garrison or something. And so if we have, let's say, like my teammate is a Craft World player, and he only has things that defend. He wants to be our defender, where he has big vehicles and wraith that are very slow. So he just wants to sit and defend. He has an avatar.
Right.
So he just wants to play the defense missions, right? Where I have a lot of characters. I have a lot of scorpions. I have Karandris. I want to play infiltrating missions, and so you can kind of mind game. And our Warzone is Eldari versus Chaos. Like we're really gonna get to know each other.
Yeah.
We're not in this crazy cluster of crazy war zones like yours, where there's like tons of different
It's
factions.
it's Tau versus Imperium.
Yeah.
Because Imperium's
Oh,
so
it's only you also have a 1v1 then, or like a 4v4.
4v4. What do you? All the factions are 4. All the war zones are generally 4v4, aren't they?
No, there's some war zones that are, I think, more
Oh.
dynamic than that. Where there's multiple teams of 4.
Oh, weird.
I think.
That's wild. Yeah, no, us it's Tau. We have 3 Tau, 1 Votan, and then
Okay.
we're going against Custodes, Ultramarines, and Guard.
I could be wrong, but like,
Yeah.
we're both gonna get to know each other a lot.
You're
There are-
gonna get to know your opponents and your
yes.
team,
So the war zone's gonna evolve
Yeah.
as you kind of pair against each other multiple times.
which, by the way, next Saturday, not going to be a Nice Boys Mean List episode. I'm going to be playing the first round of my event on stream.
Yeah, if you guys are just like, what are they talking about? Who cares?
a narrative
It's
event.
literally gonna be on next Saturday.
Yeah.
We're gonna kick off
We'll
this
learn, yeah.
narrative event and let you guys know. You're gonna see the first game basically of this
cool.
narrative event that we're going to this weekend. Super cool.
Sounds cool. Thank you, Stu Will again.
Hey.
Built my first Wolves 500 army and won my first game against Necrons.
Congrats.
Got a Null, 3 Thunderwolves, 7 Grey Hunters, 1 Wolf Lord, 3 Eliminators with Lasfell. How could this list be better under 10th?
This is a good
Tough question.
list.
I mean, we don't know yet.
Right. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen any of these data sheets, right?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a great start. You not only have things that are very specific to Space Wolves that are good, you have things that are also broad and under Primaris, right? So I think they're going to stand the test of time. Eliminators are amazing.
Is that Las Fuselage? What is Las?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Useful.
Oh.
You have your characters. I don't know.
I
I would double down on Space Wolf characters
Always.
or troops. I don't know.
It's so hard to tell because like we're gonna have so much flexibility in list building.
Yeah.
So I like that you have the Thunder Cav and you have normal things like Grey Hunters. So the safe bet is more troops.
Yeah, infiltrators, things like that. So you're
Yeah.
ready to play these crazy missions that you're
Yeah.
seeing.
Get some
But
Sky
the
Claws.
Space Wolf answer is more wolfy characters.
More wolfy characters.
Fenrisian wolves,
Oh, get some-
always
Yeah,
Yes.
you always need Fenrisian.
Get some
wolves.
Fenrisian wolves.
good. Yeah.
Oh man, that's gonna be fun.
I've got wolves to pay when I get home.
I was gonna say I think you're working on some Fenrisian
I
wolves later on
am.
today.
Yeah. Work on some infiltrators. Work on some infiltrator. Or some
More
Fenrisian wolves.
infiltrators.
More infiltrators. Once you have like 30 infiltrators,
Then we'll
some
talk.
hopefully that holds you over till 10th.
You need like some type of chaplain.
yeah,
Oh,
chaplains would be
chaplains are
cool.
always good.
Ooh,
Yeah, like
yes.
there's characters that you can get that are staples, right?
Yeah, like
Support characters, right?
Yeah. Apothecary. No, whoop, just kidding.
Famously can't. So we were talking about this. Hopefully, this is James. You
Look
have a
at-
chance to right your wrongs. Give Space Wolves Wolf Priests. That'd be ideal. But if not, at least give them Apothecaries back.
Yeah.
Come on. We'll find out.
It's so rude. Well, thank you so much, Stu.
Thanks, Stu.
I will be playing Space Wolves soon.
happening.
Love it. Last one for the night. Thank you, Meepazor. Hey,
Great.
Titans. How could I make an Ultramarines versus Guard 2,000 point game more interesting? First turn is far too oppressive, even with heavy terrain. WTC format. Thanks.
Oh, lots of terrain with WTC. Thanks, Meepazor.
First turn is far too oppressive, even with heavy terrain.
My question is,
Against,
for whoever, I see, I guess.
I see. It's two very shooting armies. You'd think heavy terrain helps a little bit,
I think it helped a lot, but
right?
apparently not enough.
I guess make sure you have dense as well. If it's guard shooting too much, if they're taking mortars or the new support weapons, -1 to hit hurts a lot, even with the finial. So get some dents in there. There's a lot of dents in WTC. Oh, never mind. WTC is not LGT.
Yeah,
format.
correct.
It's like the big.
I think there's not a ton of dents.
L's.
Yeah, it's a bunch of big L's.
Yeah. If you're okay with it, throw in some dents. Should even it out. Other things?
I think, so I feel like if people set up, the X factor to me is like the Ultramarines getting a redeploy to be making it very difficult for the Guard to hide. Whereas the Guard, you should be,
They have a way to redeploy.
they can also
as well,
redeploy.
But you have the tech into it.
I was going to say, I feel like the Infiltrator, the mid-board game, is going to be essential to ensuring that nobody can push up too far one way or the other, right? So like Scout Sentinels, Infiltrators, yes, John. Making sure both lists have that. Maybe you even come to an agreement about who gets the first drop or something to make sure it's not such a blowout one way or the other, because they're going to keep each other honest. Like, yes, you can redeploy, but you're still going to have these limitations because the other person has some infiltrators or whatever. And then you can both set up pretty conservatively so that you're not going to get devastated if you go second, and you're also not going to go super offensive if you go first because of the infiltrating thing. So, depending on the list, maybe you can add some of those to help balance that out, because it keeps both people honest.
Yeah. I mean, Guard are so dynamic as well. It's very easy to take like a gatekeeper list with a lot of tanks. You got your Kazarkins. But there's ways to make it a safer game for Guard, to mitigate risk and take less upfront damage. You can take a lot of transports. Now you're scoring more consistently. You can take less tanks and more melee. So now you have counter charges. If Ultramarines are pushing up with a lot of Redemptors or Terminators or any other melee things, you still have a nice counter charge or charge that can clean them up. So things like that. You can take Volgrin to also have your own little death ball, Psychic to make you more durable. There's a lot of ways to mitigate risk. You don't have to take so much shooting on both ends.
True.
Yeah. I don't know.
And
then you're playing around the dense terrain, the heavy terrain, a lot more, and making use of that.
Yeah.
Instead of like two like super glass cannons, like trying to find an angle on each other,
Right.
which it sounds like is what's going on right now. You kind of seems like you're metagaming around your matchup, but it could be fun to kind of experiment
Definitely.
with that. Yeah. Good question.
One more for the night. Captain Mannerings,
looks
hello.
snorted.
With all the Gaunt-based NIDs, do you think Big Boy NID list will still be viable in 10th, or are they going to push NIDs as Horde? Castardes.
That's a good question. We kind of have to feel out the addition, right? Because it feels like they're giving you a lot more options. Is taking all of those options now leaning towards, you'll have a lot of models, so you'll have more of a Horde list,
Right.
the way they want you to play it, or can you still take a lot of Carnifexes and play that way? And that's like actually viable. I don't know.
I think it's a question all the armies are going to have, frankly. Like, I know NIDS is the most extreme example of like a few big monsters or like thousands of models. But the question is going to remain, like, I think what we've seen from 10th edition thus far, they're encouraging us to take very balanced mixed lists. You're going to want to have some transports, you're going to want to have some tank killing, you're going to want to have some, infantry. And so it feels like it's rewarding that type of play. And Tyranids very well might be the same thing, where they don't want you to go super extreme. I mean, I think we've seen like the way that they reorganized the Force Org by basically getting rid of it. It's like, you can do whatever you want, but you're kind of incentivized to take a balanced force. And I bet that's going to be the same thing with NIDS.
Yeah, it depends on, I guess, then your definition of horde, right? You're not going to have, gaunt spam. You're going to have a lot of gaunts, a lot of other things. So, and then you're going to sprinkle in some transports and some monsters in there too. So it's not going to be purely gaunts. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to reward. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Not helpful.
And thank you, 95 Ginger Age, for gifting 5 Tabletop Titan memberships.
95 Ginger Age!
Thank you.
What a wonderful thing to end on for the night.
Thank you, as always. Hopefully you're doing well. Appreciate
Having
it.
a great weekend.
Well, this has been a lovely, good talk.
Yeesh.
Very educational for everyone. We are so excited for everything coming up. We have a ton of stuff going on next week. As we mentioned, we do have the narrative game next Saturday. It's going to be a ton of fun. So join us for something a bit different. Frankly, a lot of the games from here on out till 10th, we're going to be shaking it up, doing different things. We did ask everyone in YouTube, what do you want to see? And like 70% of people wanted to see wacky different things. So some
Not
more
competitive.
Well, it's weird because it was like non-competitive, but one of the options was like the top 9th edition lists, which are like highly competitive, but in like a weird way, right? So we're going to be doing a lot more of that. And so definitely join us for that. Tuesday, we have a very fun matchup between John and Bridger. So if you're a new member, good time to tune in.
World Eaters. Monday, we have Sigmar, of course. I'm going to be playing Deepkin. Amazing. For the first time. It's going to be super fun. Resident Elf player. And then Sunday, tomorrow, make sure you tune in to watch Bridger and I play Marvel Crisis Protocol. It's going to be super fun. Even if you're not into Marvel Crisis Protocol, it's going to be still really fun to watch. It's super wacky. It's alternating activations, action-packed. We're going to be joking, having a ton of fun, just smashing each other. It's going to be Thanos' Black Order versus Scott Summers' X-Men. It's going to be super cool. 2 very different armies smashing each other. It's going to be a wild game. We played one practice game, and the dice were everywhere.
You guys were going nuts.
It was, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it was super fun and super close. But yeah.
Definitely.
Check it out tomorrow.
Tune in for that. Thank you everyone so much at home for joining us. We'll catch you next time on the Tabletop. Bye.